Well, I don't suppose I'll be needing you anymore. Hello, it's bugmancx. I've got a dandelion because I'm out here and I've been sprucing up the surrounding area a little bit, planting a few more flowers here and there and a few more different crops and other plants just to make the place look that little bit more lovely. Now I know that all of the sheep are going to walk around and trample all of these crops that I've put around the place like this, but I don't care. I'm just doing it because we want the place to look a little bit nicer, a bit more fresh, with a bit more things to look at. I've also replaced this wall over here because it was just bothering me a bit that it was a bit of a dirt wall. I know it looks a bit weird with that tree trunk growing out of it, but I suppose the reality is that tree trunks grow out of concrete all the time, don't they? So maybe it's just one of those things. Well, here we are, episode 59 of Minecraft The Journey, and today is going to be a bit of a bumper upgrade episode. That's right, we are going to upgrade our version of the game. We're currently playing 1.2.2, as you can see up in the top left-hand corner there. And this is the version with that strange F4 portal bug, which I'm going to do it, okay? If I hit the F4 key, bam! Nether portal appears. Ugh. And that has been actually one of the most annoying features of the game because I'm constantly... Oh, I can't even press the buttons right. I'm constantly pressing F4 by accident and spawning nether portals in places that I don't want them. But I am getting a lot of obsidian from this, so I suppose there's one positive. The negative being how long it takes to take down the portals. But yes, as I do tear this thing down, we're going to upgrade a lot of versions today. Well, I mean, we're not going to get very far forward. We're going to be sticking with the Alpha 1.2.x area of upgrades, but there were quite a few different releases that came out in this era that were addressing different bugs and adding features and fixing multiplayer and things like that. So we're going to cruise through all of those versions and explore all of the changes that came with those versions. This is the first time I've seen one of these things in here. I knew that they still get in here because, as you can see, I've had to replant some of the crops, but this is actually the first time I've seen one in my farm. Get out of it! There we go. Problem solved. The first job of today is to upgrade from version 1.2.2 to the next one. Now, as I said previously, there were actually two versions of 1.2.2, one with the nether portal debug feature, and then one which Notch released shortly after, which removed that feature and changed a couple of other things. Now, you're always pointing out to me in the comments when I miss upgrades to specific versions, but I do choose carefully not to upgrade to every single version in between because not all versions have got features worth covering, and 1.2.2b, as we're going to call it, doesn't really have any redeeming features that we need to cover. But you keep calling me out too many times, so we're going to do it, and then we're going to upgrade to 1.2.3. Made it, Alpha 1.2.2b. This is the same version as before, it's just released a few hours later after players had discovered the F4 portal issue. So let's try that out. Let's hit the F4 key. I'm pressing it. Nothing's happening. So this has definitely removed that feature. We can no longer create nether portals by just imagining them coming into existence and secretly pressing F4. But there really wasn't too much else in this version that was worth covering. There were some references to bug fixes, but I have no idea what they were. So, sheep, should we just upgrade now? Yeah. Well, here we are, and it all feels pretty similar. Even that sheep is still there. Don't you trample my crops. Don't you do it. I'm watching you. Good sheep. Well, version 1.2.3, at around this time of the development of Minecraft, Notch was starting to focus heavily on multiplayer, fixing a lot of bugs that came in with multiplayer, and I think he'd even said at one point that once multiplayer was effectively stable, that's when Minecraft would transition to Minecraft Beta. And we're pretty close to that now, so a lot of the bug fixes and changes that we'll see will relate to multiplayer. But this version has also got one feature that we need to go and check out because it's been a real bother for quite a long time. It's leaf decay, and yeah, so it's turned back on in this version, and I want to go and check that out. because as you know, it's a real pain to have to chop down trees. I've come out here to the west end of the Mob Wrangler because this is where I tend to do my leaf farming. Not my leaf farming, my tree farming. There's a lot of space here, there's not much else going on, so it's a nice little area to be able to do it, and I can safely set fire to the leaves if I need to get rid of them as well, because as you know, the only two ways to get rid of the leaves right now are by punching them or by setting them all on fire. So I think what I can do is get out my trusty axe and then start chopping down some of these trees, and we'll just see what happens to the leaf decay. I mean, theoretically, it should just kick in and leaves should start disappearing. Let's get another tree going and see what happens. It appears to be happening. It's very, very slow. If it wasn't happening, there wouldn't be saplings on the ground. Let me just observe what's going on here. Maybe I can spot it in front of me. I stood up the top for a while and I saw nothing happen until I noticed the saplings on the ground. Are leaves disappearing? Let me just stand still. And yep, there they go, right before our eyes. Ah, leaf decay, I love you. You're back. That means I'm going to spend quite a bit of time doing some wood chopping in between this and the next upgrade, because this is probably one of the only times I've guaranteed to have leaf decay. A little bit of a spoiler. There's a bug with this and it gets turned off in the next version. So, it's time to get chopping. Oh, look at this. I cannot tell you how good this is that leaf decay is once again working. I've got how many logs? Just from about 30 seconds worth of chopping, I've got a stack and a bit, so I need to keep going. This is going to be consuming my afternoon, I can tell you right now. Well, thankfully, leaf decay hasn't ruined my hedging out here, but it has sadly ruined my amazing tree with torches on it. Oh, that's really sad. I was really hoping that this tree would persist throughout time because it would require only block updates to detect that the torches shouldn't be there. And assuming I never touched this tree, that shouldn't have happened. But I suppose because leaf decay is special, it analyzes every leaf block and detects whether it should be decayed or not. Something in that code detected those torches and... Oh no, excuse me. I'm trying to record here. Something in that code detected those torches and sadly, they're gone. So over here where we put the sign down that said the impossible tree alpha 1.2.1_01, I'm just conscious of creepers. We're going to put another sign right next to it that says ruined in alpha 1.2.3 frowny face. I've been chopping all night. You can even see that a tree has eaten into my landing over there near the nether portal. And I've just spammed this entire place with trees now because each one has a random chance of growing, and even if it can't grow because there's another tree in its way, then that's not a bad thing, because as long as there are plenty of saplings like this, then plenty of trees have a random chance of growing, just like that one, just like magic, like that. But for now, that's enough tree chopping for one day. I've got about... Well, I already did a log run. I got about 9, I'd say 10, 11 stacks of logs, which is plenty for me to live off of for the next few months, maybe weeks. I don't know. We'll see. It depends what kind of builds we have coming up, especially with that wood boat generator. It's been handy for getting the planks, but logs have been a problem because I just don't have any. So I'm really glad that we've been able to at least now get some more logs. I'm much happier with that. But for now, we're going to head back to the alpha house and have a look at a new feature added in this version. Alpha 1.2.3 also introduces possibly one of Minecraft's most important debugging features that was ever added to the game. It's not strictly part of the vanilla gameplay because it happens to be here in the F3 menu, and the F3 menu is kind of a debug screen that tells you additional information about the game, like you can see how much memory I'm using, you can see how many entities the game is processing and has loaded, what it's doing with the chunk loading and updating, and the frames per second and things like that. But you'll also see now added just below all of that up in the top left, X, Y, and Z. That's right, the game has now introduced coordinates officially. So X, Y, and Z are basically my position in the world in relation to world spawn. X and Z are the directions in north, south, and east, west, and Y is the value of my character's height. So if I run around a little bit holding down the F3 key, which is actually rather annoying, it doesn't just stay up like it does in modern versions, you can see as I'm heading back towards world spawn here that the X value, the Z value is decreasing. So the Z value here is my east-west orientation, and the X is my north-south by the looks of things. So if I head over this way, I should actually find X0, and you'll also notice that the Y value goes up and down depending on whether I'm lower or higher, depending on the block that I'm standing on. So if I head this way just a little bit further, looks like 30 more blocks or so. It is a bit of an obstacle course to get there. I should find 0 just, where is it? Just here. Okay, so this block here, this row of blocks is 0. And if I head this way now, but I can't because my direction is obstructed, this one, 0. If I head this way, you'll see the Z also keeps decreasing. And if I keep heading in this direction, I should eventually get back to 0, 0. And I think I might actually go and try and find 0, 0 by walking back the long way back to world spawn. So what? Oh, didn't know about that cave down there. I'll have to come back and check that out later. Let me head back out here to Herobrine Valley and then make my way back to world spawn. And we'll find exactly where 0, 0 is. Well, this is certainly interesting. I decided instead of cutting across the entire world that I would just take the nether. And as I went through the nether, I came out of the spawn portal and I got this. My game seems to have completely stopped responding at this point, and I have to say I'm a little bit concerned. I'm going to give it a moment, and then I'm going to terminate it if it doesn't do anything and see what happens. Fortunately, whenever I upgrade, I keep backups, so it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work, but it is annoying. Okay, I've loaded back up, and I have to say I am a little nervous, but let's see what happens. Oh, thank goodness for that. I was legitimately worried. That was probably just another alpha bug. Anyway, we're back here at spawn. We do have sounds. Good, I thought we didn't have sounds for a moment. And what I was doing before is I was having a look at the F3 screen. So we are at, I thought this would be 0, 0. I was pretty confident that our spawn location, the glass block that we placed here, would be 0, 0 exactly. And I'm right. It is, so that's good to know. That's good to know. And of course, like we said, if we head off in this direction and keep going, we should reach the Alpha House, but we can keep track of how far we've progressed by looking on the Z-axis there. The other good thing about the coordinates is that this also works in the nether. So if I just go outside of the house here and head to our nearby nether portal, always making sure to close the doors, and assuming that the nether portal transition works, because as we saw before, it just kind of locked up. Oh dear. Oh dear. The entire game has frozen. Okay, we're back in again. I'm just noticing absolutely dragon free. That's quite funny. Going back into single player, let's hope everything's good. All right. It looks like this version is just a touch buggy. I am wondering if this has something to do with spawn. I mean, the area is really, really on fire. As you know, behind me is where the world caught fire. I need to get my player out of here. I'm just going to do it in little bits, okay? And try and... Oh. I hope my player position is saving each time and not being reset to where it was. Let's look at my screen exactly. There's a torch right in front of me, so if I crash the game out again, let's have a look at what happens. And in we go. Oh, no. Oh, it crashed at exactly the same moment, which I think could have been either because we moved there or it's just crashing within 1 second. This is not good. I've decided to jump ahead a little bit ahead of schedule. As you can see, I'm here in 1.2.3_01, and I did mention that in the previous version, 1.2.3, leaf decay had been turned back on, but there was a bug with it. The bug was an infinite loop. I don't know exactly what was looping infinitely, but probably something in the game was having a terrible time trying to calculate and causing problems. So hopefully that's all it was, and hopefully the spawn area just happened to set that off. So my hope is if I go back in here and head back into our world, we'll be fine. Fingers crossed. Let's go. Okay. Everything seems good. Everything seems good again. Oh, thank goodness for that. So it was just leaf decay. Whew. Hello, moon. Yeah, okay. Let's head back into the nether. I was talking about coordinates before we got all distracted. And I did want to mention that the nether has coordinates too. As we know, the nether's area is 1/8 the size of the overworld. So if you travel 8 blocks in the nether, you will have traveled 64 blocks in the overworld. Oh, I had to do quick mental arithmetic then. But basically, 1 block in the nether is 8 blocks on the overworld. So if we head all the way up here to this portal, which is the portal based out at our mine, which is also approximately 1,000 overworld blocks away, it should be significantly less than that. And as we get closer, we can see that the Z is increasing. We're almost up to 100. And we get to the portal, and it says 125. So 125 times 8, that's 1,000. So that should be precisely where our overworld coordinates are. And there we go. We're at Z1000. Well, here's something fun that you might have noticed when watching back that last set of clips. When I went into the nether, I lost all of my inventory. I just realized as I came out of that portal, and I thought I should clear out my inventory. Well, it looks like the game already did that with me, so we've got to make new armor, new tools. I lost several stacks of wood logs. I don't actually think that I had too much else that I was too concerned about, so that's just an annoying little feature. I wonder if that had to do with the fact that the game froze at... No, it couldn't be, because it happened when... I'm not sure if it happened when I went into the nether the first time, because I didn't have my setup recording when I went in, so I can't be sure, but definitely it was missing when I came out. So I'm going to put that down to a game bug. I'm also going to check to make sure that... Let me just find an item, any old item. Redstone dust, there we go. I want to make sure that when we go through the portal, I still have this. And if I do, then I don't have anything to worry about. And if I don't have it when I come out in the nether, then definitely there is a bug related to player inventories when it comes to nether portals. Hopefully, whatever that bug was, even if it existed, hopefully it was in the previous version and not in this one. And I have my redstone. I'm very happy. Now I can go back and relax. It's been a very, very taxing episode on my mental health. I can tell you that much. We do still have plenty of diamonds left over from when we duplicated them a little while ago, so I'm not too worried about losing diamond armor or diamond tools at this point. But those diamonds will eventually run out, and we're going to have to go out into the world and try and find new ones to replace them. And that's okay. I look forward to that. But for now, we need to make a whole new set of everything, so I'm going to work on that. And then I think we're going to wrap up for the day. Well, it does all feel good having brand new armor and tools again, so, well, that makes me at least feel nice and clean and fresh. But we have... Ow! Wait! What are you doing in my house? Someone call an exterminator. Oh, there must be one block. You've ruined my armor. Oh, well, I think there must be one block. Maybe it's... No, I don't know. Don't know where it is. I'll have to do some hunting around and see what I can figure out. But we have run out of time for today's episode. Boy, oh boy, it's been an interesting one. The plans that I had at the beginning of the episode definitely took a different turn, as they do sometimes in Alpha Minecraft. What happened to my eyebrows? Minecraft, you're weird. Yes, so the game did take me on a journey that I didn't expect it to, but that's part of the fun of alpha. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But thank you for joining me in this episode. If you enjoyed it, then please do feel free to leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe if you haven't already for more amazing content like this. But until the next episode, this has been bugmancx. You've been watching Minecraft: The Journey. Bye bye.